Welcome back, my friends. The news today is that the United States Justice Department is considering breaking up Google. The Department of Justice late Tuesday indicated that it was considering a possible breakup of Google as an antitrust remedy. The DOJ said it was considering behavioral and structural remedies that would prevent Google from using products such as Chrome, Play, and Android to advantage Google search. The judge has yet to decide on the remedies, and Google will likely appeal, drawing out the process potentially for years. The U.S. Justice Department is considering breaking up Google as part of an antitrust case. The proposed remedies include separating Google's search engine from other parts of its business, such as Chrome, Android, and Google Play. This would address concerns about Google's monopolistic practices in search and search advertising. The Justice Department's filing suggests that these measures are necessary to restore competition and prevent future monopolization. The case is still ongoing, and it will be up to the court to make a decision on the final outcome. But, before we get into all of that, I would like to thank everyone who views my videos. If you would like to support the channel, please see the link to buy me a coffee in the video description below. And, please hit the like button and leave me a comment below. I would love to hear from you. Please subscribe and hit the bell icon so that you are notified of upcoming videos when they are released. The Department of Justice late Tuesday made recommendations for Google's search engine business practices, indicating that it was considering a possible breakup of the tech giant as an antitrust remedy. The remedies necessary to prevent and restrain monopoly maintenance could include contract requirements and prohibitions, non-discrimination product requirements, data and interoperability requirements, and structural requirements, the department said in a filing. The DOJ also said it was considering behavioral and structural remedies that would prevent Google from using products such as Chrome, Play, and Android to advantage Google Search and Google Search-related products and features, including emerging search access points and features, such as artificial intelligence, over rivals or new entrants. Additionally, the DOJ suggested limiting or prohibiting default agreements and other revenue-sharing arrangements related to search and search-related products. That would include Google's search position agreements with Apple's iPhone and Samsung devices, deals that cost the company billions of dollars a year in payouts. The agency suggested one way to do this is requiring a choice screen, which could allow users to pick from other search engines. Such remedies would end Google's control of distribution today and ensure Google cannot control the distribution of tomorrow. The recommendations come after a U.S. judge in August ruled that Google holds a monopoly in the search market. That ruling came after the government in 2020 filed the landmark case, alleging that Google has kept its share of the general search market by creating strong barriers to entry and a feedback loop that sustained its dominance. The court found that Google violated Section 2 of the Sherman Act, which outlaws monopolies. Kent Walker, Google's president of global affairs, said the company plans to appeal the ruling and highlighted the court's emphasis on the high quality of Google's search products, which the judge also noted in his ruling. The DOJ also recommended Google make available to competitors its data within its search index and models, including its AI-assisted search features and its ad ranking data. The DOJ is also considering remedies that would prohibit Google from using or retraining data that cannot be effectively shared with others on the basis of privacy concerns, according to the filing. The recommendations are still far from being decided. Judge Amit Mehta said he'll aim to rule on the remedies by August 2025 and an appeal by Google would likely draw out any final impact potentially years. In response to the Tuesday filing, Google's Vice President of Regulatory Affairs, Leanne Mulholland, called the DOJ's recommendations radical. This case is about a set of search distribution contracts, Mulholland said in a blog post. Rather than focus on that, the government seems to be pursuing a sweeping agenda that will impact numerous industries and products, with significant unintended consequences for consumers, businesses, and American competitiveness. She added that splitting off Chrome or Android would break them, and many other things. The most likely outcome, according to some legal experts, is that the court will ask Google to do away with certain exclusive agreements such that it has with Apple. The court may suggest that Google make it easier for users to try other search engines, experts told CNBC. However, a breakup seems less likely, the experts said. In the second quarter, Google Search and other accounted for $48.5 billion in revenue, or 57% of Alphabet's total revenue. The company holds 90% of search market share. In a separate antitrust case this week, a U.S. judge issued a permanent injunction that will force Google to offer alternatives to its Google Play Store for downloading apps on Android phones. A judge in September wrapped a trial for another antitrust case brought on by the DOJ, though this one homed in on Google's EdTech business. the US government has raised concerns about Google's market practices and dominance, leading to discussions about potentially breaking up the company. Here are some key reasons behind these considerations. Antitrust concerns market dominance. Google holds a significant share in various markets, including search engines, online advertising, and mobile operating systems. This dominance can limit competition and innovation. Anti-competitive practices. There are allegations that Google engages in practices that unfairly disadvantage competitors, such as prioritizing its own services in search results and using its market power to influence other markets. Consumer impact. Reduced consumer choice. The government's concern is that Google's dominance reduces consumer choice by making it difficult for other companies to compete. Data privacy. With its vast amount of user data, there are also concerns about how Google handles and protects consumer information. Economic and market health. Innovation stifling. The government argues that Google's practices might stifle innovation by preventing smaller companies from entering the market and competing effectively. Market fairness. Ensuring a fair and competitive market is a key objective, and breaking up Google could potentially lead to a more level playing field. Legal actions. Lawsuits. The US Department of Justice and several states have filed antitrust lawsuits against Google, accusing it of maintaining monopolies in search and search advertising through anti-competitive practices. These concerns reflect a broader effort to regulate big tech companies and ensure that their market power does not harm consumers or stifle competition. The US government has identified several practices by Google that are considered anti-competitive. Here are some of the key practices under scrutiny. Search engine practices. Search bias. Google is accused of prioritizing its own services in search results over those of competitors. For example, displaying Google shopping results prominently while pushing down results from other shopping comparison sites. Exclusive agreements. Google has allegedly entered into agreements with device manufacturers and browsers to make Google the default search engine, limiting the ability of competitors to gain market share. Advertising practices. Ad market dominance. Google controls a significant portion of the online advertising market through its platforms like Google Ads and YouTube. This dominance can make it difficult for other ad platforms to compete. Restrictive contracts. Google has been accused of imposing restrictive contracts on advertisers and publishers, which can limit their ability to use competing ad services. Mobile operating system practices. Android restrictions. Google requires device manufacturers to pre-install Google apps and services on Android devices as a condition for accessing the Google Play Store. This can limit the ability of other app developers to compete. Bundling. Google is accused of bundling its apps and services with the Android operating system, making it harder for users to choose alternative apps. Data practices. Data collection and use. Google's extensive data collection practices give it a competitive advantage in targeted advertising, which can be difficult for other companies to match. These practices are seen as ways to maintain and extend Google's market dominance, potentially stifling competition and innovation. What are your thoughts on these practices? The question of whether it would be fair and reasonable for the US government to break up Google is complex and involves multiple perspectives. Here are some key points to consider. Here are the arguments for breaking up Google market dominance. Google has a significant share in various markets, including search engines, online advertising, and mobile operating systems. This dominance can stifle competition and innovation. Antitrust concerns. There have been allegations that Google engages in anti-competitive practices, such as prioritizing its own services in search results and leveraging its market power to disadvantage competitors. Consumer choice. Breaking up Google could potentially lead to more competition, which might result in better services and more choices for consumers. Here are the arguments against breaking up Google. Innovation and integration. Google's integrated ecosystem of services can provide a seamless user experience and foster innovation. Breaking up the company might disrupt these synergies. Global competition. In the global tech landscape, American companies like Google face competition from international giants. Breaking up Google could weaken its position against competitors from other countries. Economic impact. Google is a major player in the tech industry and contributes significantly to the economy. A breakup could have unforeseen economic consequences, including job losses and reduced investment in innovation. But what are the legal and regulatory considerations? Antitrust laws. The US government would need to prove that Google's practices violate antitrust laws. This involves complex legal arguments and substantial evidence. Precedents. Historical precedents, such as the breakup of AT&T in the 1980s, show that breaking up a company can lead to increased competition and innovation, but the outcomes can vary widely. Ultimately, whether breaking up Google is fair and reasonable depends on balancing these factors and considering the long-term implications for competition, innovation, and consumer welfare. But, what do you think? Please hit the like button and leave us a comment below. We would love to hear from you. Please subscribe and hit the bell icon so that you are notified of upcoming videos when they are released. Please share this video on social media. And, before we end, a word from the sponsor of this video. Today's sponsor is ProWorldNet.com. ProWorldNet.com is a job website specifically dedicated to licensed professions, doctors, including any type of specialty nurses, and that includes all grades of nurses. Lawyers, regardless of area of legal focus. Teachers and professors, from kindergarten through graduate school. As well as any kind of job that requires a government license or certification. And ProWorldNet.com also includes short-term gig-type jobs as well. So, be sure to check out ProWorldNet.com if you are looking for a job or an employee. Thank you for watching.